Welcome to Screen to Speed Drivers Edition, where we sit down and talk with the women participating in the Screen to Speed competition. So, what exactly is Screen to Speed? Well, Screen to Speed is an all-women sim racing competition developed for women by women that seeks to create a pipeline to bring more women into motorsports from sim racing. So, how does it work, you might ask? It's simple. The competition is open to all women worldwide. First, you have to meet the qualifier, where it's not just your skills on the sim track, but how you engage your community that will determine your overall rank. From there, the top 20 women from the online racing qualifier will go to Las Vegas to compete in the IRL competition during the Pennzoil 400 event. The winner of this event will have the opportunity to seat in a Kelly Moss Porsche race car and a chance to show off her skill in real life. Drivers also have the opportunity to win $15,000 in a next level sim racing rig. So without any further ado, let's bring on our guest today, Maryn Edwards. Hey Maryn, how's it going?
Good, thanks. How are you?
I am doing well. Thank you so much for just taking out the time and being able to first be a part of this competition, but then second share a little bit about yourself and your story and your journey. Through Screen to Speed. So I'm really excited to learn more about you. And one of the things I always love to start out with is I'm always curious to know, where are all the drivers from, since this is a worldwide event. And so where are you calling in from today?
So I'm calling you from Alberta, Canada. So
Nice.
the west side, where it is freezing cold right now. So
All
I'm
right.
stay warm and warm sleeves.
Yeah, it's interesting you said that. So I have a friend of mine, actually a fraternity brother, who used to live in Canada, and we used to tease him about being there, because we'd be like, you only get like there's two seasons, right? You have summer, which happens to be about a month long, and then you have winter. And so, and so,
Yeah,
so
and
yeah.
it's more winter and construction season.
Nice, nice. So, second question I'd like to ask you is, like, how did you get your start in sim racing?
So I'm relatively new to sim racing,
Okay.
not new to loving motorsports. I've been a motorsport fan since I was a toddler. But I really only pulled the trigger on getting my own rig 2 years ago.
Hmm.
Um, it had been something I'd been looking at for a few years, but I finally said yes and got my rig all set up, and I've been competing ever since and absolutely loving it.
Nice. So, what was it that made you just pull the trigger and be like, you know what, let's just dive in and let's get into it?
For me, it's actually interesting the role that sim racing plays in my life. I'm dealing with a bit of a medical mystery right now in my
Mm,
world that I'll keep broad and vague, but it's meant that I haven't been able to use my brain as much as I would want to be, as I would have been normally. So I was looking for something that would challenge my brain at the same level that I had been when I was doing high pressure work 24.
okay.
And sim racing was really that thing that really mirrored the kind of activity that my brain would be doing, and how much it would be having to make quick decisions and changes
Hmm.
and moves on the fly. And then you get to throw in the fact that it's motorsport, which I love. And it was a bit of a no brainer, to be honest.
Oh, nice, nice. I mean, that's cool, and I definitely can say that it is a mental challenge, and it's one of those things that, like, um, you can always continue to figure out how to get better at, right? So your brain will always keep going to just figure out, like, how can I get another millisecond off? How can I get another second off? So that's really cool. Now you mentioned that you got into motorsports as a child. Tell me a little bit more about that. I'm curious.
So in my family, all the women are the ones that really, really love sports. So my mom and my aunt really love sports. And in our house on the weekends, the TV always had the sports channel on. So that's how I got my love of every sport that I love. But I remember sitting on the couch with my mom being a toddler watching the Grand Prix, because those were the years when I was growing up that, Jacques Villeneuve was driving. And so there was a lot of attention on that with him being Canadian.
Yeah.
So just watching a lot of F1 through her and through just sitting and enjoying sports together. And that's a passion that's just continued throughout my whole life.
Wow, that's pretty cool. You don't normally hear like, those type of stories. Usually it's, it's watching it with my dad, or I was, happen to have a friend who picked it up. But to be able to have that experience with your mom, must be pretty cool.
Yeah, it is really cool. And same way I feel about that was with other sports. And, my dad's gotten into F1 the last few years as well. So that's been awesome. And introducing a few friends here and there into F1 has also been great to get them interested in motorsports as well.
Nice, nice. All right. So you said that you started competing a couple of years ago. What was that like for you to, go from, not really racing at all to like all of a sudden jumping into competitions? What was that first competition like for you?
I It was a mixed bag of emotions because it was excitement, but it
Hmm.
was also a lot of nerves. So I was taking part in a competition called More Female Racers.
Okay. Yeah.
In the series, we were paired, all of the newer rookie drivers. We were paired with a more experienced driver, and I was paired with a driver named Vicky Thompson, who is an incredible sim racer, and she's super super quick and really well admired for her sim racing abilities. And so I think there were some nerves there of, not wanting to let the team down, wanting to
Yeah.
show that I could do something, because not only was I new to sim racing, but I was never really a console gamer growing up. Like, we
Hmm.
were PC gamers in my family, so I wasn't that up on my motorsport console games or having experience doing that kind of racing. So there were some nerves there, and for sure there were definitely nerves in the first few races of,
Mm.
oh my goodness, there's a fast car coming. And I was making a lot of rookie mistakes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd see the blue flag and they'd be a second behind, and I'd be like, I need to pull over to the side of the road so that they don't get me.
Yeah.
Not necessary, but that was what was going through my head. So um, it was definitely a bag of nerves, but it was also so much excitement. And we did that first race. And by the time the end of that first race happened, it was like, okay, when do we start getting ready for race two? Because
Oh,
I was
nice.
completely hooked.
Nice, nice. I definitely know the feeling about doing a race and then all of a sudden be like, you know what, I'm fully bought in, and then now I'm in debt and having to do interviews so I can pay it off. No, I'm just playing. Um, but no, so you did this first competition, and you were teammates with one of the top sim racers at the time. It sounds like that's a lot of pressure. How were you able to get through that and press beyond that pressure of knowing that like you had to do your part, right, and make sure that you were able to help carry the team?
Yeah, I think it was twofold. I think number one, in addition to her being an incredible sim racer, Vicky Thompson's also an incredible teammate and an incredible mentor,
Nice.
and was really good about setting expectations for what we wanted to achieve as a team. And really, her goal was wanting to see me grow as a sim racer. So it wasn't necessarily, we must win at all costs. Let's get
Yeah.
right into P1 in every race. It was, okay, how can we improve? What did we learn from that race? What do we take to the next race? So I think that took some of the pressure off, that it wasn't stepping in with an expectation or
Mhm.
a milestone set of, I must do this or else I'm clearly not meant to be sim racing.
Yeah.
And, I think the other thing that actually helped push through a lot of the pressure or the nerves in it is that for the first probably three races of that season, I ended up being the passenger to a lot of crashes that I wasn't invited to, and just and ended up being at the bottom of the grid and then having to fight my way back through the pack.
Yeah.
And so at that point, there really is no pressure, because it's not like, oh, I've got 16 people chasing me. It's
Yeah.
okay, now let's take what we're learning and let's just push and let's work on getting my pace and getting my racecraft up so that I can move my way through the pack, and so that there isn't any massive disappointment of, oh, I got hit and now I'm back in the back of the grid again. It's like, okay, I'm back in the back of the grid again. Cool. Let's go have some fun. Let's go
Nice.
change those positions. So I think that actually helped, but definitely having a teammate that was also an incredible mentor and coach
Mhm.
definitely helped to take some of that pressure down.
Okay. Well, it seems to me that you have nerves of steel because anyone else would have looked at like, and you have such an optimistic point of view, which is amazing because, like you're saying, like you're in the back of the pack and you're like, ah, you know what? Let's see what we can do here. And most people are like, oh no, how am I gonna, get through all of this? But that's really cool though that like you've taken that point of view because I think like having that point of view and having that mindset especially as a driver, is going to get you a lot further in competition and most likely just in life in general. So let's talk a little bit about screen to speed. Like, what got you interested in screen to speed? Like, how did you hear about it? And yeah.
So I heard about it. I've known Steffi for a little while and saw some posts that she had put up and some posts that Yvonne had put up on a couple of different Discord servers
Hmm.
talking about this new venture, and read up about it and was like, yeah, I definitely want to take part in that. It's been a really interesting experience for me because iRacing is not kind of my primary platform that I race on. I'm primarily on a set of Corsa Competizione,
Ah,
but really wanted to work on my iRacing.
okay.
So this has been a great experience and a great way to keep working on my iRacing and keep getting experience and seat time in that, while also working towards this amazing goal and this amazing opportunity that Screen to Speed is presenting itself.
Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, I am a ACC man myself, so we're definitely going to get into that a little later. So that's going to be exciting to talk about. So you already mentioned it that iRacing is not necessarily the platform that you raced on, but here you find yourself, there and at the Las Vegas track and with NASCAR, no doubt. So really curious to know, like, what do you think about all those things? Like, what has the competition been like for you? How's the car been? How's the track treating you?
Um, the car has been an interesting one to learn. Definitely learning a lot about how to manage those inputs and how to really push on that feathering of the throttle to really
Hmm.
use the car's natural momentum to help rotate, because it's such a short course and it's such a tight course that there's
Hmm.
not a lot of space to do massive braking. And
Yeah.
it tends to be, if you do that massive braking, then you're getting off tracks or you're not able to get control of the car. There's that straight just when you come across
Hmm.
the straight. And if you've got too much brake on there and you don't release it in time and you're not feathering the throttle and managing it, you're off in the gravel
Just
somewhere.
yep, yep, yep,
You're
yep.
going on a field trip, or else you're crashing into fences and hoping you don't kill virtual attendees.
Yeah.
So that's been a interesting part of this track, and it's something that I quite like about this track is learning how to keep working on my car control in that way, and
Nice.
the feel for the car, and getting a bit more comfy with feeling the vibrations that I'm looking for or the force feedback that I'm looking for to kind of give me that indication.
Hmm.
Um, it's always interesting to learn a new track, and especially when it's such a short course.
Hmm.
And also because, as you know, being an ACC driver, ACC is primarily more road courses, if we're using that terminology for
Yeah.
Grand Prix and things like that. Whereas, here we're in an oval track, but we're using a different configuration of it. And so I'll be honest, the first couple times I went on the track, I'm like, okay, where's the turn? Where am I in the oval? Where am I so lost?
Yeah, yeah.
Map. We're going to need to just go corner by corner and figure this.
Uh-huh.
So that's been interesting as well, but it's been a lot of fun learning a new track. I mean, I still have a lot to continue to improve on. I've not made that top 20 yet. There's nothing guaranteed for me yet. So definitely got to keep pushing. But that's the nice thing about this, is that there's opportunity to keep pushing. It's
Yes.
a one and done, or you only get to do 5 laps and then that's it. There's a lot of opportunity to continue to learn and continue to grow even through this qualification process.
Yeah. So let's get into that top 20. So as you already know, the top 20 get to go to Vegas and participate in a in real life competition. Um, if you get to go to Vegas, is this the first time or have you ever been to Vegas before?
Nope, first time, never been.
Nice. Are you looking forward to it?
Yeah, you know what? I'm looking forward to Vegas, but I'm more looking forward to meeting the drivers because there's a number of drivers that are currently in the top 20 who I race with on a casual basis every week.
Hmm.
Or we've raced in series together for 2 years, and we've done a bunch of racing together online, and we might have had the odd webcam chat where we've been able to see what each other looks like, but we've never met in person. And so
Wow.
I'd really love that opportunity, not only to take part in the competition, because that's such an incredible opportunity, but as well linked with that is getting the opportunity to meet in person this incredible community that I've grown to be a part of.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that. I've talked to a lot of drivers so far, and that theme keeps coming up. This idea that like there's an opportunity to connect with people that you've been racing with for years, but never met in person. And so I think it's really it's kind of surreal. It's kind of weird that like, here it is. You probably have really great friends, right? And that you guys know each other so well on the track, and but yet and still you've never, actually met in person. It's like I said, it's surreal, right? It's pretty cool, but yet at the same time, it's like, wow, like, that lets you know the day and age we're in when it comes to like technology.
Totally.
Yeah.
But what a great opportunity that, the vast majority of the people that I'm driving with in these series, because of the time of day that they take part,
Hmm.
the vast majority of drivers that I drive with aren't in North America. They're based in Europe. So
Yeah.
the fact that it's a community that there are drivers in North America that I get the chance to race with,
Hmm.
had the opportunity to race with in different series like GT World Challenge America. But then there's also this crew international. So
Yeah.
really the community, it's almost like a 24/7 community because
Yeah. Yeah.
there's always someone up racing.
Yep, yep. Wow. All right. So like you said, being in Vegas, you get the opportunity to not just race there, but meet some of the drivers you've been driving with. But I'm really curious, how are you feeling about the opportunity to possibly be able to drive in an actual race car? What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, that doesn't seem real still. Like even when you read it on the website, even the first time I read it on the website, it didn't seem real. Still doesn't seem real.
Yeah.
Uh, what an incredible opportunity. And I think it really speaks to the power of something like Screen to Speed and the fact that there are teams and organizations that want to come alongside and not just offer, you know, here's a great opportunity for some new sim equipment, which is amazing because we love sim racing, but here's an opportunity to try your hand at real life racing.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not something that everyone gets the chance to do. And
Hmm.
it's a really fascinating opportunity. And yeah, it's still so surreal that I can't wrap my head around it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's cool. And you actually brought this up, and it's interesting because this was my next question. But like, you said that there are some really cool organizations and companies who are sort of coming together to make this thing happen. A few of them happen to be some really big names, right? So you have Pennzoil, you have Ford, Yahoo, and of course you have Init Esports.
Mhm.
I'm really curious to know, like, Um, what are your thoughts on like these companies, finally getting behind this movement to lay a foundation to help get women into racing and into motorsports?
I'm really pleased to see that it's happening. And I think we got to be careful because there are a lot of these companies that are already investing in women in
Yes, you're right. Yes, yes.
racing and in motor racing. So this is not like for these companies, it's the first time and this is groundbreaking. But to be getting behind this initiative that's melding the two environments of sim racing and real life racing together and really seeing the opportunities that sim racing affords women drivers, not
Hmm.
just in the sim racing world, but also as it translates into the real racing world. There's all this talk about all the F1 drivers that have benefited from all the years of sim racing that they've done.
Yeah, yeah.
And so you look at an opportunity like this and you look at companies like Pennzoil and Ford who are seeing the benefits that are coming from having their drivers on sims and what it's bringing on the real life racetrack. And so
Mm-hmm.
I think with them taking that and shifting it into allowing more opportunities for female drivers, both in sim and in real world, I think it's a great initiative, and I'm really happy that they've gotten behind Screen to Speed. And yeah, it's amazing to see them connect and get involved and be allies in seeing more representation of females in sim racing and hopefully in real life motorsports.
Yeah, I definitely can agree with you there. So um, I wanted to ask you because I know a little secret, maybe, that you do more than just race, right? You actually play a pretty big role off the track as well, I guess, or adjacent to the track. And so I was curious if you can share a little bit about like what you do as a race organizer and helping to put on events like this.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm not doing anything at the level and size of Screen to Speed or some of the other massive racing series that are going on right now, but it really is a lot of community building and a lot of opportunity for driver growth and development and just having fun. So one of our one of the racers that I drove against in More Female Racers, her name is
Hmm.
Sarah Moore. She's a former W Series driver. She had a Discord server that she started, and it's a server that we have for female and transgender and NB drivers. And I run the casual race every week. So
Okay.
it's, I have taken on the role of setting up the server every week and setting what the race is going to entail, and then making sure that it goes off without a hitch, and also playing the role of race director, though I should note I am the nicest race director in the world because I always cancel all penalties.
I don't know if you want to let people know that
We're fine. Just any kind of competition, no, we're cutthroat. When it's casual, it's fun. Who cares about that?
though.
It's a really great way. We talked about it before, and you had heard it from some of the other drivers, just to really emphasize and offer more opportunities for community building. So, more
Yeah.
opportunities for drivers. We have drivers of all skill levels and experience who are on the grid at the same time. The motto in there is that it's about community, not championship. So the
Hmm.
races are not there. There's no points on the table. You don't win anything. You're just there to have fun with your friends. We do some really crazy races. We last week's race or this week's race that just finished, I set it up so that it was a 24 times multiplier. So that means it goes through a 24-hour cycle in 45 minutes with a track that was somewhere in the high 36s at Barcelona. And the goal was to try and keep your tires alive for the duration of the race. You could have one pit stop.
Oh, so this is more like a puzzle less
Yeah,
than a race.
but it's different. It's gotten a little bit, OTT, but at the start, I was really using it um, where every week I would offer a new variable into the race
Uh-huh.
so that drivers who were newer, like me, could focus on one area without the pressure of it being in a championship situation. So we would do one race that was in the rain. So if you had no experience driving in the rain, you
Yeah.
got that opportunity. We do night racing, so you'd get that opportunity. We have pit stops, so you get the opportunity to think about strategy,
Yeah.
figure out when you're going to pit. We do things like weather randomness so that you can figure out how to be flexible and how to manage the electronics on the car and manage how you're driving the car in different situations. So it offers a whole bunch of things in one. And
Yeah.
honestly, it's just the biggest amount of laughing that I do in my entire week is in those casual races.
So it sounds to me more like you're not just a race organizer, but a taskmaster. Like you make it happen. You put it all together and see if people can figure it out. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, but then I also have to figure it out because I don't know. So there's no I don't know the key. In fact, I'm not usually the one at the front at the end of the race. But it's just a lot of fun, and it's a great way to have community
Yeah.
while also giving drivers the opportunity to grow as drivers, because you have those more experienced drivers
Mm-hmm.
who are offering suggestions and support and advice while we're all on a voice channel together. So there's no
Yeah.
pressure of like, oh my goodness, Yvonne is right there and she's really, really good. No, Yvonne is on the voice chat saying, hey, have you thought about maybe changing where you're braking here? Or did you know you could take more curb on this corner?
Ah.
So it's a really, really nice environment to bring everybody together in a way that
Yeah.
never feels pressure, and it's just about laughing and enjoying each other's company.
Nice. I mean, I would definitely say I think that's one of the things about that I love about sim racing is that I don't know if there's any other community out there. Now, I know there probably is. I'm part of like the whole esports community, and so I know that there's like, people out there who play Call of Duty and they have their community or League of Legends, but I don't know if they're as I don't know if this is the right word either, but as nice and as open and generous as as a sim racing community. So that's really cool
Yeah.
that you guys are getting together and being able to do that. I want to pivot before we wrap up here. And I have my favorite segment. I call it my favorites. And so I'm always curious to
Okay.
know what everyone else's favorites are. And so you are an ACC
Mhm.
person, and so I'm really curious to know. I wouldn't, and I normally don't do this, but unfortunately or fortunately for you, I'm going to make you stick to ACC.
Okay.
and so, and so, what is your favorite car to drive in the set of cars of competition?
Ooh, am I restricted to a class of
No,
car?
no, no, nope. You're not restricted. You can choose out of all the different cars.
Uh, I'm I'm gonna pick two. I'm going with the Porsche Cayman GT4
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
that was the first car I ever drove in ACC. So
Which means you can master every other car.
I'm bonded to it for life.
Yeah.
Uh, and there have been a couple of bop changes that make it a little bit more higgledy piggledy on some places, but I really,
Mhm.
really like the 488 Evo, the Ferrari.
Okay. Yes, yes, yeah, yeah. I think that yeah, you're definitely right. They've adjusted it because it was a little too dominant at times. So nice. All right. Favorite track.
Oh, that's no question whatsoever. Mount Panorama.
Yes,
Love
yes, yeah,
Bathurst. I've done
yes,
endurance races at Bathurst. I adore that track.
yes. Nice, nice. And then also, lastly, is what is your favorite rig setup, favorite equipment that you like to use?
Um, it's going to be my favorite because it's all I've ever known. But I use the Fanatec CSL Elite F150.
Yes, yes, me too. That is
Um,
that.
I have the load cell pedal,
I don't
which I
have that one though.
did after season of more female racers. I was like, oh yeah, we need to work on our braking. Load cell.
Uh-huh.
And then I just use a play seat challenge as my seat right now.
Nice. Okay.
I'm
Cool.
on a rig that's kind of pushed into a corner of a desk with a monitor sitting on the corner of the desk. So at some point we'll
Hey, you
up
never know. This competition might give you that rig of your dreams.
you never
Yeah, I am so I started out on the Logitech, the G29, and then or maybe it was a G27. It was one of those. But I've been a fan of Fanatec forever. I mean, maybe partly because that's all the ads I keep seeing when I'm driving the track. But I was like, I have to get one of these wheels, and that was the one I got. And I mean, sadly, shortly after they discontinued it, but
got it. So
yes, yes. So now I have bonded to it for life, as well. So yeah, I love that wheel. I love it.
I get
Like, yeah, that's cool. All right, so before we go, I have to do my thing that I always like to that I do, which is let people know that if they're interested in being a part of history and being a part of Screen to Speed, especially right now, we are looking for allies out there. And so if you want to sign up, please check us out at www.screentospeed.com. Again, that's www.screentospeed.com. And one of the cool things about being an ally and being the support of this competition is that it comes with some opportunities to win some prizes and awards, and rewards rather. And so you should get out there and check it out. And we always want to shout out our sponsors, of course. We have Pennzoil, Ford, iRacing, Yahoo, Kelly Moss, and of course Init Racing. And without them, we wouldn't be having this conversation today. So we are very grateful for that. And so with that being said, I just have one last question for you.
All right.
Which is, what would you say actually, let me back up because I forgot part of this competition is not just what you do on the track, but it's also about what you do off the track. And so it's all about building that community that you so gracefully talked about earlier today. And so for anybody who's watching this show and catching this episode and wanted to support you, what are some ways that where can they find you on social media? What are some ways that they can support you?
So you can find me on Instagram and YouTube. The handle is up there right now, but it's sim_racer, and that's racer with an H, RACEHER.
Nice. Now I want to ask you the last question,
All right.
which is, if you had the opportunity to share your expertise or your advice to a young woman who is interested in getting to sim racing or wanting to try sim racing, what is it that you would tell her?
I would tell her to just go for it.
Nice.
Because I think there are so many perceived barriers that we as females put up ourselves, that we think that it's not a space we should be in or could be in. I can tell you that's wrong. There is an incredible community. You talked about it before, that the community is really welcoming and wants to bring in drivers and wants to see these drivers improve. And, we've had that incredible opportunity, at least I have, for the last couple of years. And that's what we've been trying to do with the communities that we've been building, is to bring those opportunities and to really welcome in all these new female esports drivers and sim racers. So I would just say, go for it.
Nice.
Down your first game, whatever is your preferred motorsport, go take a few laps. Don't worry about if you're setting fast laps or slow laps or any laps. Just go have fun. That's the real important thing at the end of the day here. We're not doing brain surgery and we're not sending rockets to the moon. Yeah. We're driving pixels around. So just have fun with it at the end of the day and look forward to seeing you on track.
That's great. Well, Maryn, this has been an amazing conversation. I'm excited to see what you're going to do and hope to see you on that leaderboard, and definitely would like to see you in Vegas. And so thank you so much for, again, taking the time out to share your story and talk a little bit about the competition. And I will be rooting you on as well. And for everyone else, thank you for joining us on this episode. Really appreciate this and just really appreciate this moment that we're having right now in motorsports. And so please make sure you check out the rest of the episodes that we have. You can probably find them below or something, or up there. They're somewhere. But yeah, check them out, and we will see you all next time.